we all wanted the Conservatives to be ousted, and Greens wanted that. Even Conservatives wanted that, I think. Yeah. But we know that there has been a huge crisis of trust on so many issues that matter so much to people, and that a lot of people were voting just to get the Tories out, but with real doubts that their concerns would eventually be reflected in the policies and action of a Labour government. The Green campaign message throughout was real hope, real change. And that's what our candidates promised, that if elected, they would push Labour to be bolder and braver on the key issues. And obviously, for as Greens, that's prioritising fair and just climate action and restoring nature. And not surprisingly, Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth judged our manifesto promises to be by far the most effective. So if you want green, vote green. But also we promised to push on lots of other issues. So ending further NHS privatisation, standing with Gaza and Palestine, safe and legal routes for asylum seekers, championing affordable rents, taking back control of water, and taxing the super rich, and breaking those fiscal set of rules that the Tory government introduced and that Labour are sticking with. And again, the Green tax and fiscal plan was judged by independent financial experts to be economically credible, which a lot of people often think they're not, but they were proved to be so. So we stood candidates in every seat this time, so that people had the option to vote with their heart and according to their convictions, and we are humbled and proud that delighted that people did that. We targeted 4 seats, and our message got through, despite the fact that the media were, as usual, very disinterested. And I'm going to give you a few stats because you might not hear them in the mainstream media. So we're overjoyed that a record number of people, 1.8 million, felt it was important to have a strong, independent Green voice in Parliament to hold Labour to account. That's about 7.2% of the vote, and we've increased that steadily over the years from 2015. We did win all of our 4 target seats and quadrupled the number of Green MPs. We finished second to Labour in 40 constituencies, which is interesting for the next election. And we finished third in a further 42 constituencies. In London, we finished second in a quarter of the seats. And locally, our excellent candidate in Worthing West gained a record number of votes, allowing us to keep the deposit, our deposit, and use it for future local election campaigns. And that was a similar story in East Worthing and Shoreham. So, here we are. We've had this, really worryingly low election turnout, and that was especially true in constituencies with a higher proportion of ethnic minorities, and especially true where there were more Muslim voters for obvious reasons. And the party in power has a huge majority. The media-aided rise of reform, as lots of people have said, is really threatening everywhere. I mean, it's across the board. So we've got a lot of work to do. And I know Labour are undoubtedly going to make some good changes. And when they do that, I don't have any problem, celebrating that. So, for example, they've lifted the de facto ban on onshore wind power. But then again, will the climate protesters that are in jail be among the people that are given early release? I don't think so. And we've all got lots of doubts, I'm sure, about lots of issues where they will not go far enough. So the task of our 4 new Green MPs is to work with the Labour government when we can, work across parties, work with independents, to welcome whatever proposals, progressive proposals they put forward, but then to push them to do better. And the new Green MPs have put forward, 10 steps they'd want to see in the first 100 days. And those included a pay deal with junior doctors, removing the 2-child benefit cap and ending no-fault evictions, criminal charges against water companies, restoring the right to strike for public workers, and recognising the state of Palestine and ending arms sales to Israel. So, Greens will continue to highlight the differences between Labour's approach and ours on the things that matter, like the cost of living crisis, ending the right to buy on social homes, protecting and restoring local services and the capacity to deliver them, and a locally led, just transition towards net zero. So thinking about what actions, can we all do? Obviously, I would say look at the Green Manifesto, and if you like what you see, help us to grow. At the next general election, we want to target those 40 other seats where we were second, and locally we'll be targeting more borough council and county council seats. So next year is the county council elections, and it's a chance to get the Tories out of West Sussex County Council. That's where a lot of local decisions are made, things that affect everybody in this town. And that takes hard work, and it takes feet on the ground, knocking on doors, all of that hard work. The other things I'd say is demand proportional representation. We would have had 45 seats in this election if we'd had that. And then I think definitely, challenge your local council. And I say that as a councillor, challenge it. And challenge our MPs, hold them to account. You can do it through direct questions from the public. You can bring petitions. You can bring deputations. You can support the questions that we bring as councillors. So, for example, I'd be asking our two new local MPs, why haven't they yet backed the climate and nature bill? But there's lots of other things we could be asking them. And then I think the other hugely important thing is community-led activism and positivity, and that's what we've heard from everybody tonight. And we all, stand together. All of the groups represented here, we should be aligning with and amplifying their messages. And just two things I wanted to mention where I think there is a real chance for people to collaborate. For example, there's the idea of a heat strike is a chance for unions to come together with climate activists to demand a maximum temperature in workplaces and a paid furlough scheme for workers when climate temperatures reach that temperature. And the other one is Take Back Water, which is an XR-led thing, but it's lots of other groups together, and they've challenged the government to commit to bringing water back into public ownership within the first 100 days, or they won't pay the bills. Simple. We have to make our voices heard, because we are what democracy should look like, and we need to make that known. So thank you for.